show started, ladies and gentlemen. It's 10 o'clock. It's happy hour o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happy hour o'clock. Do you have your cocktails ready? Try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, it is happy hour o'clock. Do you have your cocktails ready? That's better. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this party started. I have my cocktail ready. I have everything set on my end. Audio's good, video's good. We are ready to party.
Bar looking a little ordinary? Is it lacking something awesome? Well, head out to your local liquor store and pick up something extraordinary. Grab a bottle of Old Humble Straight Whiskey or Old Humble Special Reserve. They're clean, smooth, easy drinking whiskeys that taste the way whiskey should taste. From humble beginnings to an extraordinary finish, Old Humble whiskeys are what your bar needs today. Walk tall, be awesome, and drink humble. Old Humble Straight Whiskey and Old Humble Special Reserve. Get yours today.
Get yours today, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, I am the Old Humble Guy. Adjust the video here. I thought I had everything nice and organized and nice and set up. Get my light on. There we go. I did not turn on my mood lighting either. Let's get that thing lit up. Oh, this box here that's all brand new. Oh yeah, this is important. I want to tell you all about this a little bit. This is what we're spinning the wheel for. Get your. I'm the Old Humble Guy. This is the Old Humble Distilling Company's happy hour, Wednesday Whiskey Wednesday happy hour, where we talk about anything and everything that I feel like I want to talk about. Tonight we're going to talk about the Boomers and how terrible the generation. But we're not going to relitigate. We're not going to relitigate the whole Boomers ruined everything they put their hands on. I'll talk about it a little bit, but we're not going to relitigate that. We already know they've ruined everything they put their hands on. I want to talk about the difference between the Boomers and the next generation, the Gen Xers, their kids, through the lens of two movies. Two movies, generationally defining movies. The Secret to My Success and Office Space. Great movies in their own right, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that and what it means and all that. But this here, this is our whiskey giveaway. This is week 8, the final week where we're collecting up names. We do the spin next week. We're collecting up names to go on the wheel. And here's how it works. The wheel of doom and glory. Every name I see that pops up into chat goes into this notebook right here. Those names translate from this notebook into a spreadsheet. That spreadsheet goes to our Wheel of Doom and Glory. The Wheel of Doom and Glory is what we will spin at the in next week's show. We will spin the Wheel of Doom and Glory on next week's show, and we will spin it twice, once for Doom and once for Glory. The first spin, your name comes off the wheel. That is your Doom. The second spin is the spin of Glory. That spin of Glory wins you what's in this box. What's in this box, old humble guy? That's a great question. Glad you asked. The thing that is in this box, I need to adjust my audio level. I keep redlining. The thing that's in this box, because I had coffee earlier and I have a lot of energy. The thing that is in this box is 4 sample bottles. These sample bottles are going to be filled with straight whiskey, special reserve, double oak rye, Boomtown bourbon, and oh, what will this 5th bottle be? That, my friends, is a mystery bottle that you are going to thoroughly enjoy. And then along with that comes a cigar. This cigar is from a company called Acid. It is a flavored cigar. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it did come with the box. So that's what you'll be getting. Oh, but my name comes off the wheel if it hits once? Yeah? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. There's some people who've been watching and participating and getting into chat every single week that we've been doing this. So they've gotten on the wheel 8 times already. But you can adjust your odds. How can you adjust your odds? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. You can get on the wheel again. For every dollar you put into a super chat, you get on the wheel again. So, like for example, JLM just popped into chat. So cheers, JLM. You were on the wheel of Doom and Glory for week 8. JLM. You're on the wheel before. I see you were on the wheel last week. You're on the wheel several times. But let's say JLM wanted to get on the wheel 25 more times. Super chat, 25 bucks. You're on the wheel 25 more times. Oh, but there's more. We have memberships active. Memberships get you different tiers of involvement with the channel. There's a super fan membership that gets you access to members only chat and members only shows. There's the Wildcat level, which is the second level, which gets you invitations to come onto shows and do sip-alongs with certain samples of whiskey that people can't get anywhere else. And then there's the third tier, which gives you the opportunity to name our studio, because we are the Old Humble Distilling Company, and we are broadcasting our Whiskey Wednesday Happy Hour live from the Old Humble Pandemic Studio. But it could be I've said this every week. This is the PP Poo Poo Studio. It could be the My PP is Teeny Tiny Studios. I mean, I will read whatever you give me to read as the name of this studio. I will straight up Ron Burgundy the name of my studio for the low price of $25 a month. But that's not all. Those memberships, for your full annual amount that you subscribe, you get your name on the Wheel of Doom and Glory that many times. So our first member, Mr. Jiggs, he is a $2 a month member. So that's 24 additional entries. 24 additional entries onto the wheel that he has earned himself. So go ahead and be a member. Subscribe to the channel, do your memberships, do super chats, do whatever you want. Get on the wheel as many times as you want. We're spinning it next week. We already have about 200 entries on the wheel. Someone's going home with a sample pack of all 4 of our whiskeys, plus a bonus bottle of something that I'm not telling you what it is. There will be a little note card in it to tell you what it is. You're going to like it, though. I can tell you that much. You're going to like it because I like it. I like it. You'll like it. We'll all like it. But that's how you get in. Tomorrow, I'm going to be live streaming from the distillery. We're going to have it'll be members only for the first hour or so. I'm doing the build out. We're building our tasting room. We're putting in the walls. We're framing up the walls. Next week, we'll actually be putting up the sheetrock and closing it in after the electricians come in and put in the conduits and boxes and all the stuff that need to be put in. And then what else do we need to do? What other housekeeping do we have going? We'll be open to the public in a few weeks once the tasting, or we're open to the public starting this Friday, but we'll be open to the public with a fully or nearly fully completed tasting room for people to come in and enjoy the ambiance and setting of our brand new space. So we got a lot of exciting things going on. I've got a game show that we are in development for Mondays or Tuesdays whenever we do the game show. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but it's coming up. We've got a tabletop D&D campaign that I'm developing with a buddy of mine from across town. We're going to try it and see how it works for uh, for uh, for at least one season and see how it goes. Steve Erpenbeck has joined the party with a big super chat. Um, Erpenbeck, $10 for Steve. Welcome to the party, Steve. Thanks for joining me. And of course, all the money that goes through the super chats and memberships and everything that goes through the channel goes back into the channel to get new equipment, lights, cameras, stuff for the studio at the tasting room. Um, all of that is to help build out this branch, this arm of it, so that when we do live music, we'll have better audio, better video, better visuals, better production quality for live performances from the distillery, better production quality for all of our stuff. It's not just going to be me sitting in the pandemic studios. It's going to be, a broad-based. I mean, that's the goal. That's the broad-based entertainment arm of our tasting room. I mean, I can't have a lot of people in the tasting room, but if I, the very least that I can do, especially during the summer when it's hot as balls, is I can bring my tasting room to you. Um, there's not going to be. I don't expect there to be a lot of people who want to come out in the middle of summer when it's 100 degrees outside. I mean, yeah, we're going to have air conditioning. It's going to be running. We're going to have air conditioning. It's going to be as beautiful. I haven't had my opening shot. It's going to be as beautiful as I can make it. But you can only do so much when it's 100 and something degrees. You can only do so much. Opening shot. See, that's how jazzed I am today. I'm like all hopped up on coffee beans and stuff. Cheers. May the road rise up to meet your feet and your days be as numerous as you wish. Cheers. Mm. Boomtown bourbon. A, a symphony in your mouth. All right, that's my cocktail. Now that should get me through most of the show. Cheers, Kurt. Walter, Kurt. Cheers to you. Cheers to Steve. You want the bonus sample? um, I'm not going to tell you what it is. There will just be there'll be a little slip on there. There'll be a name and a proof. Well, there'll be a style and a proof. And I've got 3 or 4 options of what I might put in there. I've got a vodka gin. I've got a cask strength rye, a cask strength bourbon. I've got my other another bourbon that I have in development, another rye that I have in development. I have a brandy that I have in development. I have a gin. Did I say gin already? I've got all kinds of stuff in development. Um, all kinds of stuff in development. Uh, Desperate Measures Studio. Can't make proper mixed drinks without proper measurements. Oh, that's nice. Towards fixing and selling my double wide and finding somewhere else to live. Oh, hey, I mean, I was just using you as an example, Jalen. You don't. I mean, I appreciate the support. I always appreciate the support, but nobody is ever under any obligation. Um, absolutely not. Absolutely not under any obligation. Um, I would not. I mean, obviously. I mean, I'm just a goofball doing a live stream. I absolutely 100% appreciate the support. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. No purchase necessary, as they say in the old 1980s ads. I do want to give a big thanks to all my new subscribers. We have since last week we've gone from 231 to 230 something to 270 something. So this has been a remarkable. Where is it at? Where is it? There it is. All right, here, 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 here. Where the hell is it? All right, just this way. There it is. Boom. That way. That way. That way. There it is. All right, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm having 3D spatial, 2D spatial translation issues. All right, let's get on with the topic. I've droned on long enough. It's 10:15. Give me 15 minutes. Let me talk about my topic at hand. If this is the way I wanted this happy hour show to go, the way I've always wanted this to go, the way I thoroughly enjoy this going, is picture yourself in a bar. You're sitting in a bar, you're minding your own business, you're there at the bar, you're kind of just in your drink, the bartender's there, comes by, wiping down glasses. Where's my Where'd my towel go? What do I do with my towel? Where'd it go? He's wiping down glasses. He's talking. Did I? I had it. What happened to it? Where? I must have taken it into the other room and dropped it or something because it's gone. It is 100% there. It is. Bartender comes up. He's wiping down glasses. He's like, "You need anything?" And you're like, "No, I'm cool." And he goes off. He goes, "All right, fine." He goes off. He's wiping. And then some strange rando dude comes in and sits down. Bourbon rocks. And he gets his drink and he looks over at you and he goes, "So, did you ever think about you ever watch movies? You ever think about the difference between like the generational difference between how the boomers define success and how Gen X defines success and how that shows itself up in movies?" And he's like, "I've literally never thought about that ever." And then you're like, "Well, hey, I've been thinking about this like all day long. So let me talk about that. Let me tell you what let me tell you what I've discovered. This is what I figured out. The boomers, and this is like it was one throwaway line that somebody said to me. The Gen X will never know the pleasure of starting in the mailroom and working their way up to the top job in a company." And I thought about that and I was like, "No, we won't, because that doesn't exist. You don't you don't start in a mailroom in a company and work your way up to the CEO position. That doesn't happen anymore because we as Gen X were told, go get your college degree, and then because they need you in the office tomorrow. Go get your college degree. They need you in the office." So, and that's what we did. We went and got our college degree. We spent money. We got our loans. We got our stuff. We went to college. We got our degree, and then we came out of college. And then all the boomers were like, "Hold on, we haven't retired yet." But we started our mid-level jobs, and we skipped the mailroom stuff, and that was when there was a bifurcation in the marketplace. The mailroom guys were the mailroom guys, and they stayed the mailroom guys, and the college grad guys were the college grad guys, and they stayed the college grad guys, and the master's degree guys were the master's degree guys. But then there was the special college guys, the Yale and Harvard guys. But the boomers started their careers that way. They would start their careers in the entry level, the entry positions into the job, the wage earners, the mailroom. The mailrooms don't even exist anymore, for that matter. The mailrooms don't even exist. That shit's been outsourced. There's no such thing as a mailroom anymore. If anything, there's no such that's been outsourced. They have a company that comes in and handles that, a logistics company that handles it, and you get your mail brought right to your desk. But it's not from somebody internal. But that was a great way to meet everybody in the company, right? Because you'd go through and you'd toss the mail out, and everybody you meet the intern. That's how everybody met everybody. That's how the new guy met everybody. And you'd show your initiative, show up with a tie, and you're delivering mail. Whatever, that doesn't exist anymore. But the two movies that clicked in my mind: Secret of My Success, Michael J. Fox, 1980 something. Brantley is the kid's name. What a dickish name is that, right? Starts in the mailroom, impersonates somebody who's an executive, makes his way up, sleeps with his aunt because it's his uncle's company, works his way up into the boardroom, takes over the company. It's kind of a sleazy, underhanded way of doing things. But it's a jokey, kind of emblematic boomer success story, right? Where you worked your way up through the company, you got to know people, you worked some deals, you did some stuff, you end up taking over the company. 6 months, year and a half tops. That's how it worked. It's not how it works. Not today. I don't think that's ever how it worked. But that's not pertinent. The facts are not pertinent because this is entertainment, right? But then the contrast to that is Office Space, where a guy literally follows all the rules and figures out that his job and his company are both meaningless. They're driving him to the ground. He's miserable. He hates it. He's spending all of his time, all of his energy, all of his joy in an upwardly mobile effort to never ever ever escape the treadmill of his existence, unless he wants to turn around and fuck his friends over, right? Because he gets promoted into the middle management, and his first task is to fire Michael Bolton and his other buddy, whose name we can't pronounce. That's part of the joke. You can't pronounce the name, but it's actually really easy to pronounce. And Jennifer Aniston's in it too, and she's gorgeous. Um, But she's on a parallel track too. She's in a job and she has to wear the flare, and it's stupid, it's performative, and she's like, "Fuck you, I don't want to do it." That was the whole thing in the movie too. But the contrast between the two movies, where the one kid works his way up, sleeps his way up, screws over people, and makes his way up, does some deals, takes over his uncle's company, and the others where the dude's like, you know what, fuck it entirely. I don't want to do this job anymore. Literally take this job and shove it. Literally steals from his own company. I mean, gives the money back, but then the company burns to the ground. And instead of changing jobs, going from Technodyne to Initech or Initech to Technoplot, whatever it was, decides, you know what, I'm out entirely. I'm out of the rat race entirely. I want to do work that's meaningful and makes me happy. And the meaningful work is literally cleaning up the rubble from the job that he left because the entire place burned down. And this is two entirely different generational viewpoints in how to succeed in life in general. Because the boomer definition had been, upwardly mobile, do more, do more, do more, get more, get more, get more, uh, faster, faster, bigger, bigger, better, 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 better. And Gen X, we started that way. We started that way through most of the 90s, I want to say. But then in the middle part of the 90s, the late part of the 90s, with the first tech crash and the second tech crash, and uh, then the third uh, unprecedented life event that we saw within 10 years, there was a significant portion of that generational cohort who was looking at things going, nah, something's not right. Something's not computing. Something's not working out. We were told you get your pension, you get your Social Security, you work with your job, and you retire, and that was the boomer way. That was the way it was done. But somewhere in the late 80s and early 90s, that paradigm changed. You no longer got a pension. You no longer stayed with the same job. They weren't loyal to you, so you weren't expected to be. But it took like 5 or 6 years for us to not be expected to be loyal to them. And then that job paradigm started to change, and we see that difference. We see that difference in these two movies. We see that difference distinctly in these two movies. And it's growing more obvious and more distinct with the subsequent Gen Y, Gen Z, the millennial generations, where they're like, you know what, we're not going to be the CEO of this company. We're going to work to our salary. We're going to work to our value. And that was something that we had to learn how to do. We had to learn that because when we went into the job place that we entered was the boomer job place, the job place that we're in and leaving in record numbers. The job place that we're in and we're leaving is very much a Gen X and millennial workplace, and we're finally beginning to see boomers finally giving it up and going into retirement. Um, but man, there's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch that are sticking to the late stage boomers and the early stage Xers that are really hard to tell the difference between the two of. Let's be honest. People born between 1964 and 1969 kind of act and look the same. But I don't know. I mean, y'all have seen the movies. I'm sure y'all have seen the movies, at least one of those movies. Secret of My Success is probably a little bit more dated and obscure than Office Space. Office Space is a much more contemporary, much more modern. It's only 25, I think, years old. Secret of My Success is at least 10 years older than that. Probably 15, if I had to guess. I haven't looked it up on IMDb to confirm that. But I think that was mid 80s. So it's probably 15 years older than that because Office Space, if I'm not mistaken, was 98. So we're talking, 25 years, 28 years? No, 20, 23, yeah, 25 years, and then at least 30, maybe 35. Probably 40 years. God damn, 40 years? I remember watching Secret to My Success because there was a sex scene in it. Michael J. Fox in an actual sex scene with, I believe, his aunt by marriage, not blood, if I recall. And as a kid, I was like, oh, hang on, do that with the eyes. Because, I was like 13 and everything was sexy and titillating when we were 13. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with chat, shall we? Has that been 15 minutes? That's been about 10 minutes. I got 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Give me 5 more minutes. Because there's a point to this. There's a point to this. We could go through the whole thing how boomers ruined everything. But I'm not so much worried about boomers ruining everything. We know they ruined everything. We know that, and we'll get into that later. We know they did. Everything they touched. Everything they touched. And not just for themselves, but also for us and our kids and our grandkids. Like they ruined it for like 3 generations. They betrayed their parents' generation, their kids' generation, their grandkids' generation, and the great grandkids' generation, and probably the generation after that. But the tail of the tape isn't in on that yet. Like we don't need to relitigate all that. But I do. I do want to at least highlight the cultural difference. The cultural difference, the mindset difference of what we define as success, what we define as value, what we define as goals in life in general. Because when the Bobs call Peter into the office, and they say, "You've been missing a lot of work lately," and he says, "I don't think I've been missing it, Bob." That's that's a key distinction between the generations, because the when you're coded and trained to dedicate your time and dedicate your life and dedicate your energy to building up a business, and you build up somebody else's business at that, build up somebody else's business for the investors, and your success is measured on the scoreboard of deals and dollars and all that stuff. That's a very different mentality than my life is not defined by what's in the cubicle. My life is not defined by what, and it would be, I think it would still be entirely different. I think it would be entirely different if the office space hadn't been the office place hadn't been boiled down into inputs, where the worker was turned into an input, where the worker was turned into a statistic, where the worker was turned into dollars, where the offices were turned into cubicles, where efficiency reigned supreme over everything, where they were cutting costs and cutting costs and cutting costs and trying to bring, when the people started to be seen as line items and expenses, a lot of that changed. And it wasn't just the generational change. It was the way there was a cultural shift somewhere in there that it's hard to put your finger on it, hard to describe into words, but somewhere in there over the course of the 80s was a cultural shift where it wasn't about what am I looking for? What are the words that I'm looking for? It wasn't about the value that you get from work. What that you could then bring back home and return to your family, but it was the value that you could bring to the job that the job could take from you and turn into profit. The power dynamic shifted. You follow what I'm saying? Somewhere in there, the power dynamic shifted, where it wasn't the company that you were giving your time. You were helping the company succeed so that you could succeed. Somewhere in there, the culture shifted, where the company was helping us survive so that the company could succeed, and the focus switched. You follow what I'm saying? Somewhere in there, the focus switched, where the company wasn't asking what can we do for you, but what can you do for us. And when the culture shifted, then the people response to that shifted. And we're seeing the effects of it. We're seeing the effects of it 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road. And we're going to see more of those effects of it when, people can't afford, when a starter home is $250,000 or $300,000, when, rent is twice as much as a mortgage, but you can't afford to you can't afford rent, but you can't buy a house because your credit's not good enough to buy a house. You don't have $10,000, so you have to pay twice as much in rent. Uh, like the imbalances are growing and growing and growing and growing, and that's a cultural thing, and we're seeing more of it. And there's something in there, and there's something in there, and you can put your finger on it, and you can look at it through the lens of the cultural response, and the lens of the cultural response to a large extent is the entertainment that we make, whether it's Idiocracy or Office Space, both Mike Judge movies, or The Secret of My Success, or The Wolf of Wall Street, or Wall Street itself, or Wall Street 2, the Bubble, not the Bubble, the Big Bust, the Big. I mean, there's so many of these movies that give a lens into uh, uh, the culture and how we responded to the. I mean, Pretty Woman, for crying out loud! Like, this guy's whole thing was taking things and turning, creating value where that didn't exist, and even if that value was breaking it up and selling off its parts. Um, like he was an extractive force. Uh, but then the shift at the end of the movie was that he wasn't going to be an extractive force. He was going to build something. And also Julia Roberts and her legs. Holy cow. Also, kids, in case you're watching and you're wondering, prostitutes don't generally look like that. Escorts look like that, but not prostitutes. And there is a distinction. There is a distinction. As Archer would tell us, there. God, I don't even know if I should. This is monetized. We have advertisers now, so I don't even know if I should say this out loud. Archer said it. He said it. It's on FX. We could say this. That when they're in the trunk, when they're dead in the trunk, they're always hookers. They're never prostitutes when they're. Jesus. Never mind. I can't go on with that. Never mind. You watch Archer. It's a great show. It's funny. All right, let's move on. Let's go. Time to open up chat. It is that time of the show now. This is the next part of the show. We kick into Old Humble After Dark. Old Humble After Dark. I turn on chat and I scroll back through comments, and I haven't gotten any text messages from my boy John Longshank, so it looks like we're good with regards to stuff. So we go into comments. Where is it at? Nope, not that. There's my cursor. Over here into comments. All right, now we get started on the show. And here's where we go. Money, that was the super chat from my good friend Steve Erpenbeck. I need to get my handy dandy notebook right here so I can make sure that I write down all the names that I see as we go through the list. Okay, so back to the point of doing these. One of the points of doing these is so that I can get audience interaction and help y'all have y'all interact with us and me, the Old Humble Distilling Company. And we will be giving away, like I said, this fine box. I just picked up this box at the cigar shop today. I got the stickers off of it, all the identifying pieces off of it. There's still a little bit of glue on here. I'm going to take the finish off of here and replace it with a nice mahogany. You might be able to see I've taken some of the finish off already. I was trying to take the glue off, and I took a little bit of the finish off. So I'm going to take the rest of the finish off. I'm going to stain it with a nice mahogany stain or a barrel stain, possibly. The inside, I'm not done with the inside yet. The inside, I'm going to have a nice, what is this? The inside, I'm going to have a nice liner, a nice fabric liner. So it'll be a nice fabric liner. You get a cigar. You'll get 5 samples: straight whiskey, special reserve, double oak rye, Boomtown bourbon, and a 5th mystery sample, which I may tell y'all what it is next week. I may not tell you what it is ever. You may just never know until you get it and you put it in you. What I got, you gotta get it, put it in you. What I got, you gotta get it, put it in you. What you got, you gotta give it to your mama. Anyway, that's how you get demonetized. You start riffing off of songs. Anyway, so there's that. And every person who gets into chat, you get your name on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Every $1 super chat gets you another entry on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. So Steve Erpenbeck right here gets 10 entries onto the Wheel of Doom and Glory. If you become a member of the channel, in addition to the benefits you get as a member, your entire annual membership gets counted towards the Wheel of Doom and Glory every time we spin the wheel. And we do it at least twice a year, where we give away a little sample pack of our whiskeys, a little bit of merch. My boy Mr. Jiggs is our first member, so he's getting a special prize package for being our first member. My deepest gratitude and appreciation. Thank you, Mr. Jiggs. But also, our first Wildcat member and our first Roughneck member, you will get a special thank you from me. In addition, Roughneck members get to name the distillery studio for a month. So there's that. There's that. For $25 a month, you get to name the distillery for at least a month. The more members we have, the shorter the time. But I don't think we'll ever have more than 5 or 6 Roughneck members. I mean, it'd be cool if we do. You know, if we get more than 12, I'll raise the price a little bit and kind of cut the number down. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. We'll rotate. We'll rotate it around. We'll work it out. I'll figure it out. That would be a nice problem to have. To be, and we've got 2 studios. We have the Pandemic Studio and the Distillery Studio. So maybe we'll have the Pandemic Studio have one month and the Distillery Studio have another month. We'll do shows from both of them every week. Whatever. We'll see. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I want to take care of you people because you people take care of me. I appreciate your support, and I am going to. I got your back. I got your back 100% of the time. That's how it goes. So let's go through chat. This is the Old Humble After Dark portion of the show. I read every comment, and we go until I'm done. Super chats, of course, go to the front of the line. And how far behind are we? It is 10:11. Real time is 10:38. 10:38. So I am 27 minutes behind on chat. Is that right? Yeah, 38 minus 11 is 27 minutes. So there's my boy Kurt. Walter Kurt. Walter Kurt, by the way, runs 3K Marketing. I got that right? Walter? Look him up if you want branded merchandise like pins, shot glasses, Glencairns, hats. He did our hat. Where's my hat? Well, shit, my hat's in the other room. He did our hats. He did our T-shirts. Good guy, good work, good stuff. Talk to Walter. Walter will hook you up with all kinds of stuff. And away we go with the next stuff. All right. Where are we at? All right. It moved up. There we go. There's Walter's chat. All right. Fantastic. Steve Erpenbeck wants the bonus sample. Right. Okay. I'm repeating myself. I've already read that one. Desperate Measure Studio. Cheers. You may be in heaven or hell. You may be in heaven a half hour before the devil knows you're dead. Oh. Desperate Measure Studio can't make proper mixed drinks without proper measure stuff, and you may be in heaven or hell. Yep. If you're going through hell, keep on moving, right? JLM, howdy, Steve. But you know, gin sucks. Well, now, okay. So, yes, London Dry Gin, historically speaking, was literally intended to be a mixing alcohol. Literally intended to be a mixing alcohol. So it doesn't taste good by itself. It was literally intended to be mixed. It's not intended to be drank straight. However, there are gins that are intended to be drank straight that actually don't taste terrible. For example, where's my Flower Moon? Do I have a bottle of Flower Moon? My Flower Moon gin. Flower Moon gin, which is made by me at the Old Humble Distilling Company. Do I have a bottle? Where is it? Here it is. Flower Moon gin right here. This is really good. It's a double platinum gin. It's a really good gin. And I don't say that just because I make it, although I wouldn't make it if I didn't like it. But it's not. You know, I mean, it tastes. It has a nice peppery kind of flavor to it. Has a nice aroma to it, a little citrusy because the guy has the herbs the guy uses are a little citrusy. I've got this cough in my throat, but it's got a nice aroma. It's got a nice flavor to it. It's got a little bit of a little bit of peppery spice to it. He uses a lemongrass and he's got all kinds of cool citruses in there. Um, and you know, traditional London Dry has like 4 herbs. Uh, but the sipping kind have as many as 13. And I think he said this one has. Did he say this has 16? How much does he say this has? Um, this has 15. I can't read it. 6 times distilled. I distill it 6 times, and 15 different botanicals and herbs. Was it 15 or 13? 13. 13 different botanicals and herbs. A gin that I'm working on, like playing around with, has 8. Um, but I've tasted as many that have 26. But you know, I've got a few others that I did a tasting for with them here on the show. I've got this one that was uh, uh, Puerto Indio gin, and then this one, which was a pink thing, kind of a strawberry flavored gin. Neither one of them that I make, but they were given to me as kind of a bottle exchange. See, that's easy to drink. It has an aroma to it. It fills your mouth. It's like kind of perfumey. It's kind of neat. I've never had a gin that I like that I could just drink straight up. And then I had this London. Uh, had this shit that tastes like ball sack sweat. It's just awful. I almost threw up when I had that. I drank it and I couldn't. I almost threw up. I've never tossed on camera. Almost tossed that. That was undrinkable. Undrinkable garbage. But it's great as a mixer. You pour enough tonic water and enough lime into it, it tastes great. Because you can't taste it. So there are some gins that are made to be drank straight. There are some gins, London Dry, not so much. Um, but that doesn't mean that you can't make it so that it tastes good. Or at least, you know, I mean, you could have a nice botanical mix into a good base spirit, which is what we do with our Flower Moon. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So yeah, I mean, in general, get it? Gin is a inferior spirit, but when you get into the smaller batch craft stuff, it's actually quite nice. But you gotta know what you're drinking. You gotta know what you're drinking, which is important for everything. You gotta know what you're drinking. JLM, Mr. Jiggs, welcome back to the party, Mr. Jiggs. I kind of want to do. I kind of really want to weight these things in favor of the members. So I'm wondering if I should do like every time a member gets into chat, it's worth their whole membership. So like the first time you get in, it's 24. You know, I see your name, it's 24. You get a membership, you get the 1 plus 24. Then the next time you come into chat, it's 24. You get like a bonus every time. I think I'm gonna. Should I do that? Does that unfairly weight it in favor of the members? I mean, it should unfairly weight it in favor of the members, right? I mean, shouldn't I? Hmm. I mean, you can't answer, Jigs. But you know, I can make these rules on the fly. I just activated memberships 2 weeks ago, so I don't know how to. I'm not sure what to do. Anyway, there's some weird stuff happening in your town. Uh, I need to know more about that. What are you talking about? Weird stuff happen? Is that why you're moving? Because weird stuff's happening in your town? I don't know where your town is. Think I'm being. I think I'm being weak. Okay. Uh, John Longshake. You don't need to talk to Longshakes. He's he's probably not even paying attention right now. He probably has the show on mute and he's watching something on Netflix. in his living room somewhere. Uh, he's probably not even paying anywhere close attention. Uh, uh, anyway, let's move on with more chats, shall we? You love that movie. That's my stapler. Yeah, Office Space, the stapler. They actually had to make that stapler for Office Space. Swingline didn't make that. I don't need to give fucking Office Space trivia. Everybody knows this shit. Um, didn't they? Didn't they all go? They didn't all go into the construction. The two friends, Michael Bolton and the other guy, went to the other Inadyne, Teradyne, whatever the other data entry company was across town. Peter was the one that was like, no, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I like this. This is fine. I'm good with this. He got a job that paid his bills. Um, he got a job that paid his bills. He had time to spend with his girlfriend. He had time to spend, relaxing at home. He didn't have, there wasn't undue expectations for him to work that wouldn't be fulfilled. Like if he did the work, he got paid for the work, and that was it. There wasn't like, hey, do this extra. Can you come in on Saturday? Can you? He was like, you know what, fuck it. And that's a lot. I mean, that's goddamn. There's so much to be said for that because there's so many of us that go to that we go that we take loans and we go to school and we get a job to pay the loans so that we can uh, so that we can work longer, or so that we can make more money, so we can get more stuff, so that we can impress people who we don't know. And there was this whole mentality of get more, 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 get more. Get a job, get your benefits, get your retirement. That way you can put things away, put things aside, and then you can retire when you're, 50, 55, 60. Nobody's retiring when they're 50, 55, 60. Nobody, not even the boomers. They're working until they're 80, 90 years old. They got to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And there's a lot to be said for that. Because you know what's making them work this long? Tax cuts. I don't want to get into it. Hang on. All right. We're not gonna get too deep into the weeds. We're not gonna get too deep into the weeds. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. But the narrative, the thought process, you know, was you continue to do. It was like the cocaine commercial. I do more cocaine so I can work more, so I can make more money, so I can get cocaine, so I can work longer hours, so I can make more money, so I can get more cocaine, so I can work longer hours, so I can get more money, so I can get more cocaine. And then woo 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 woo, go to the hospital because you had a heart attack. But that was the mentality of the 80s. That was the mentality of the 80s. That's what we were taught. That's what Gen X was taught. Yeah, as we go through high school, we get into college. You get the job. You got student loans. You got to pay for those loans. You got to get your job so you can pay for the loans. And you pay for the loans, and then you get more stuff, and you're making all the money. Well, think of how much money you'll have when you pay off your loans, and then you have all that money. Now you can get the car. Now you can get the house. Now you can get the thing. Why would you have that couch? Why don't you get that couch? That's a nicer couch. It's a fucking endorphin drug, and you just need more. But Peter was like, no, no, I don't need that. I'm good. I'm gonna shovel this junk into these wheelbarrows, and I'm gonna, I mean, they admired the guy who was going to kill himself, but instead of killing himself, he backed out of his driveway, got hit by a dump truck or a garbage truck, big settlement, and then he could drop out of the workforce because he got a big settlement. That's the Gen X dream, right? You get you get a you get a big settlement, and then you can quit working. But then our parents go instead of having a big inheritance and a big nest egg to hand down to their kids, they end up going to the hospital, and all that money gets sucked out with a hip transplant or a heart transplant or a cancer surgery or a rest home or retirement community, or they got to keep downsizing and downsizing and downsizing because they keep outliving their savings, and then when they finally do pass away, they don't have anything because everything got transferred to the corporations because they get you even in death. Isn't that great? Isn't that the happy ending that all of us look for? Cheers. Oh, joyous day. This is a happy hour. Probably watched Secret of My Success. I like Michael J. Fox back then. Yeah, I mean, this was at the peak of his career. This mid 80s, he was Family Ties Michael J. Fox. He was, uh, yes, we are the worst Jason. Had fun doing it. Welcome back to the party, Easy Street with Jen. Easy Street. You're on the wheel of doom and glory. Street with Jen. I mean, it's not a value judgment. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, like, this was a generation that was handed civil rights, that was handed environmental protections, that was handed equal rights, was handed voting rights, was handed Jesus Christ, was handed bodily autonomy, was handed uh, 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 a remarkably equitable economy where the wealthiest and poorest were not so vastly divided. Uh, and in the interim, in the intervening, I don't know, 30 years or so, environmental protections have been reduced. Hell, they were handed space travel and trips to the moon. And in that, and you know, environmental protections have been eroded, civil rights have been eroded, bodily autonomy has been eroded, economic equity has been eroded, um, uh, access to higher education has been eroded. What else has been eroded? Civil rights, voting rights, equal gender rights. Um, I mean, Jesus Christ, even like uh, uh, homosexual marriage, gay rights and transsexual rights, that was forced on you by the next generation. Everybody else was like, no, 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 no. Everything's gonna change, and it all changed like within a month, like boom. Um, I mean, it's not a value judgment. It's just a, statement of fact. I mean, hell, even your parents fought fascists, and at this point, like that whole generation is bringing them back, and they're not letting them go. Like Jesus, like quit voting for them. Anyway, uh, you didn't have kids, so you're good. Jen, I'm so glad to see you back on the show. It's been a hot minute since I've seen you in chat, but it's good to see you. Sending all your children's jobs overseas. Well, oh, but that look, sending the jobs overseas, that was part and parcel of uh, union busting, tax cuts, uh, uh, profit chasing. I mean, there's a whole like shit show. Like we could get into a whole list of things, a whole list of things. But I mean, really, we've we've that whole thing's been litigated again and 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 again. And we can literally, I mean, you can literally look at all the like social ills and the income gap, the wage gap, the wealth gap, the rise of poverty, the lack of upward mobility, the growth of student loan debt, the growth of like all the name something, anything, and you can trace it back to like 1983. Like the graphs, whatever the graph is, they go like this in 1983. Like this is the trend, this is the trend, and then in 1983 it goes like that. Almost everything. Like average length of incarceration 1983, 1984, 1985, somewhere in that neighborhood. Anyway, uh, anyway, I mean, yeah, what you gonna do, right? What you gonna do? You got to wait for two more generations to come behind your kids, and then Bimbo Barbarella's in the house too. Jesus, we're getting a whole bunch of fresh names on the wheel tonight. Bimbo. It occurs to me that I have not been promoting this show on Twitter very often. Uh, and I will note, by the way, for those of you who are keen observers, The sunglasses tonight are Astros orange because my Astros are in the playoffs because the Rangers can suck it. Uh, I mean, sure, we fell ass backwards into the playoffs, but that's what good teams do. They find a way to get into the playoffs, and bad teams find a way to get out of the playoffs. And the Rangers have made it through the first round. Congratulations to the Arlington Rangers for making it through the first round. And my condolences to the Toronto Blue Jays for facing the Astros in the second round because we gonna whoop them. I am looking forward to Carlos Correa coming back to Minute Maid Park and losing. That's what you get, chump. Actually, no, Carlos is with the Twins. Yeah, it's the Twins who are coming to Minute Maid Park, not the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays got bounced. That's Russ Springer, not Russ Springer, George Springer, who got bounced from playoffs. Anyway, the Bobs. There is Miss Bimbo Barbarella. Cheers and cheers to you. There's Jen. What else we got? Thought of two different Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band tunes during all of this. Are we at 150? Yes, we are. My eyes are getting soft. Two different Bob Seger. Stop that. Stop that. Silver Bullet Band. The honor is all mine. Pirate Radio for a few. This Ask Clown Tom insulted my music channel. This Ask Clown Tom? Do I need to go fight somebody? Do I need to go fight somebody, Bimbo? We can't have Tom being a ass clown. I will fight. Speaking of fighting, here's a preview of the next fucking rant that I'm gonna have in my car. Here's a preview. Speaking of fighting, my stupid kids, and I've got 3. 2 of them are stupid. Well, I mean, they're all stupid because they're kids. But 2 of my kids, let's be more specific here. 2 of my kids will literally argue about anything. Literally argue about anything. One will wake up and say the sky is blue. The other one will say, nuh-uh. Actually, it's just blah, 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 blah. Like, shut up. Shut up. When me and my brothers, when we were kids, we would argue about meaningful things. Meaningful things that were valid and legitimate to argue about. Like, for example, could the 1986 Astros with Charlie Kerfell and Mike Scott and Nolan Ryan on the pitching staff, with Dave Smith, 35 saves in the Astrodome, Glenn Davis at first base, Billy Doran at second base. Could those Astros, the 1986 Astros, who just barely lost to the New York Mets, who went on to win the World Series in 1986, could the 1986 Astros beat the 1996 Astros? Like, that's a legit, like, Billy Wagner as the saver versus Dave Smith as the saver. A rotation with Roy Oswalt versus Nolan Ryan. Guys like that with Jeff Bagwell at first base versus Glenn Davis. Billy Doran versus Craig Biggio. I mean, clearly Bagwell and Biggio were better players than Glenn Davis and Billy Doran. Clearly, without question, the outfield for the 86 Astros was without question better than the outfield with the 96 Astros. Without question. This is not even a debatable fact. But these are things that we could argue about as kids in the 1990s. Like legit, like statistical stuff to back it up with, theoretical stuff, like the lineup that the Astros had with in 1996 with Biggio leading off, and then whoever was in the second place, and then Bagwell coming in. Because Biggio would get a hit, steal second, sacrifice fly to move him to third, then Bagwell would come in and slap him into home. One run right off the bat. Astros take the lead. The pitcher's pitching from the lead. It's not even at that point a question. There's a reason why those teams won 95, 98, 112 games. There's a reason why it happened. The 1986 team was remarkable. Some of the best pitching in the league. Mike Scott threw a no-hitter to clinch the division championship. He threw a no-hitter, for crying out loud. Dude had a wicked split finger. He was scuffing the ball. He had a wicked split finger. And then, the next day, Nolan Ryan comes in and he throw a fastball faster than you could see it. the #1 strikeout king. Like the next 3 people, you could put them together and they still wouldn't touch Nolan Ryan. We had those guys both in the rotation. Would the 1996 Astros beat the 1986 Astros? That's a legitimate argument to have. You can get heated. You get worked up about that shit. What do my kids argue about? Whether or not netherite armor gives you protection when you can just look that shit up and ask. Whether or not the decoration armor gives you extra bonuses. You could literally look that up. You could just Google it and see it. It's done. You're done. There's no argument to be had. Now, you want to say if it looks better or looks worse, if it's worth doing, it's not worth doing, that's an argument that's worth having. But not whether or not it actually does something, because that's like asking arguing whether or not Jose Altuve hit 300 or more or 300 or less. That's not an argument he had. You just Google it. What's his batting average in 2023? Boom. There's no argument to be had. In the 90s, in the 80s, hell, in the early 2000s, we argued about stuff that mattered. Whether or not Metallica was better than Aerosmith. Whether or not Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction was a better record than Def Leppard's release in the same year. Whether or not Bon Jovi was better than Poison. Those are legitimate, real arguments that can be had, real discussions that you could sit there and just have a broad-based, like this is how they tour, this is #1 hits, all that stuff. Whether or not Peyton Manning or Eli Manning was a better quarterback. Eli Manning had more Super Bowls, but Peyton Manning was legitimately better at running a team, better at running an offense, just more command on the field. Like these are all like these are legitimate bar discussions to have. But what do my kids argue about? What are my kids going to argue about? Whether or not netherite gives you protection. When you could just Google, what does netherite do to armor? Do decorations on armor do anything in Minecraft? Google's like, no. End of argument. End of fucking argument. There's nothing else to argue about. The answer is no. It's like, does 2 + 2 = 93? No. Done. You're finished. That's it. There's nothing to argue about. Put down your pens, put down your pencils, close your notebooks, walk away. But no. Do they do that? No. They'd rather get mad and start yelling at each other. And you're like, just shut up. You're both morons. You're an idiot for arguing with him, because you know what happens when you argue with a pigeon? You look like a fucking crazy person yelling at a pigeon. And you know what happens when you argue things that are demonstrably false? Well, they elect you to Congress in Florida. You might become the governor of Florida or Texas. But you look like a crazy person walking around in your slippers and your robe and your sweatpants, yelling at the clouds. You look like a damn crazy person. And you're not old enough to be a crazy person. So quit being a crazy person. Get off my lawn, you damn kids. Anyway. So there's a preview of the next. I don't know if I can gin that emotion back up. I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can bring that emotion back up in the car. There was a guy dumped out of a good job with IBM around 50 years old. He was last working at a store like Tractor Supply Company. Yeah, that happens. That Archer is legit. Okay, so before in the olden days, before ISIS was a thing, before ISIL, before all that shit in like 2015 or 2018, whenever ISIS became a thing. It was before 2016 because it was during Obama's presidency. Archer worked for ISIS. That was the agency they worked for. It was ISIS. And Fox was in the process of changing the name. They were already concepting the idea of changing the name of the agency that Archer worked for. and then ISIS became a thing. And then they immediately moved forward and changed it. But you know what? I'm going to hold that thought. I'll be right back. I got to show y'all this. I got to show y'all this. I'll be right back. All right. The only time I've ever bought TV show merch. Look at this. This is Archer, right? This is my Archer coffee mug. Y'all are going to love this. So the agency that Archer worked for was ISIS. I own an ISIS coffee mug. Before they changed the name, before the ISIS, the International Secret Intelligence Service before ISIS became terrorists, there was the International Secret Intelligence Service. I own an ISIS coffee mug. And one of my favorite things to do in my previous job was to bring this to the office. And when we were on conference calls, to be sitting there and drinking coffee out of my ISIS mug. So that other people in other divisions could see there's that trust officer over in Houston drinking out of an ISIS mug. What the hell? Why is he drinking out of an ISIS mug? Like, because I'm a badass motherfucker. That's why. This is probably my favorite piece of pop culture merch. I have an ISIS mug. Bong. Anyway, all right, on with chat. I'm sure my channel got blasted. Well, we run clean and fun channel. Clean and fun? Well, fun. I mean, clean is also fun. Anyway. Go check out Barbarella's music program. Go check out Barbarella. Go check out Easy Street with Jen. Go check all these people out. Check everybody's channel. If you see a name in chat, go check it out. See if they have videos. Watch the videos. Enjoy the videos. Like the videos. Subscribe to their channel. Comment on a video. Do all the things. We're a good community. We look after each other. We get each other's backs. I don't get to be on YouTube as much as I used to. But when I see my friends pop up on my For You page or my whatever it's called on the front page of YouTube, my YouTube front page, my scroll page, whatever. When I see my friends pop up, when I see them in lives, I try to pop in and say hi. I absolutely try to pop in and say hi, and you should too, because we're all in the same bar together. We're all in the same bar together. We're all decent people, or we try to be decent people. I hope y'all are decent people. If you're not decent people, I'll call you out for not being decent people. But for the most part, I think everybody here is a decent people. So there you go. Pretty remarkably unfair. Adding, because it could be working at Sneaker World. Oh, that's the guy from IBM. Right. Just about to type that. I don't know what you were about to type. This was 36. How far? Jesus Christ. I'm 25 minutes behind in chat. 45 minutes behind in chat. That's 36 to the hour plus 10. That's goddamn. Okay, I'm rushing. I'm hurrying. Taste my whiskey while visiting Jen. What happened? There's Tater Dom. We jumped forward. Hold on. I got to go back to where we were. All right, I went back too far. Live production and with a shitty computer. Working on it. Working on building up a new computer. Everybody, y'all are helping me out. Thank you so much. Scrolling forward to where we need to be. Oh, you're about to type that. Okay, here we go. You tasted my whiskey while visiting Jen for company that doesn't know. For someone who doesn't know what whiskey is supposed to taste like, it tastes. Well, then thank you, Barbarella. I appreciate that. The fact that it tastes good is all that matters. It's all that matters. That's it. That's where it starts. That's where it finishes. And I can also tell you that every iteration of my whiskey is getting better and better and better and better. Every batch is a little bit different, and I'm continuing to refine my process, and it gets a little bit better every time. It's never a finished product. It's never a finished product. Um, so there you go. I've been called a member. Does that count? No, it doesn't count. Uh, 10 for super chat plus 1 for commenting. That's right. Steve Erpenbeck has 11 entries on the wheel of doom and glory. What if I change the lighting? Would that help? How's that? No, I don't like that. That? No, that? No, that? Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Back to where we were. More members sounds good to me. Yeah, I mean, having members all over the place just slapping me in the face. My goal for the channel, my monetization goal for the channel is $100 a month. Um, if I can get $100 a month, YouTube's minimum to send a check or draft or whatever they send is $100. So my goal for monetization is $100 a month. If I can get a regular $100 payment every month, then I can turn that money into equipment. I can turn it into promotions for the channel. I can turn it into hiring a videographer to actually help me record videos, hiring an editor to take my lives and cut them down into 30-minute bite-sized bits. This is all stuff that I don't have time to do. I don't have time to cut my shows down to 30. Like I tried taking one day in the life show and cutting it down into like a 30-minute morsel, a 15-minute morsel, whatever, cutting out a bunch of stuff. I worked, it was like a 3-hour show, 4-hour show. I worked for like 6.5 hours, like a whole afternoon, just sitting there like cutting out parts of it. And I only got through about half of the show. And then I got distracted. I had other stuff to do. I had to order some stuff. I had to get some bottles, and get some labels, make some whiskey, blah, 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 blah. And I have not gotten back to it. And it has been at least 2 years. At least 2 years since I've done that. I just don't have time to do that. If it takes an hour to edit, 30 minutes of footage. If it takes 30 minutes of footage to make a 3-minute video, and that's being generous, by the way. It's usually more like an hour for 3 minutes. If it takes an hour of video footage to make a 3-minute video, a 4-minute video, it takes at least 3 hours or 4 hours to edit all that stuff down, to create a graphic, to create it for the transitions, to create a thumbnail, and then to post it with all the keywords and all the other stuff that you need to do. It takes a day to do the recording, at least a day to do the editing, and then a day to do the posting and all the SEO shit to go with it. And I don't have 3 days to give. I just don't have 3 days to give. So all the revenue from the channel goes back into the channel. All the revenue from the channel goes back into the channel, going back into production quality, cameras, all the shit. Uh, 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 professional people to do all the back end stuff so that I can just do this and then go do whiskey, then do this and go do whiskey, and then that's it. Um, we're slowly trying to build this up. I'm slowly trying to build this up and slowly trying to build a community and slowly trying to, turn the gears on the channel and get it going in the right direction. But always, the focus always stays on the whiskey. I'm a guy who makes whiskey who has a YouTube channel. I'm not a guy who has a YouTube channel who makes whiskey. And that's how it goes. So there you go. Looks like, what am I wearing? I am wearing this is my Old Humble flannel, and cargo pants. I traditionally, so y'all know, traditionally back in March of 2020, when I started the channel, all of my shows were done during the pandemic, and during the pandemic, during the lockdown, I did not wear shoes. We didn't, I mean, we walked around not wearing shoes, and traditionally, the show has always been done barefoot. And today, I'm wearing boots because I was working earlier today. But since you asked the question, what am I wearing? It reminded me that I am wearing my boots and I need to take them off so I can do my show barefoot like I normally do. So now I am wearing my cargo pants because I wear cargo pants because I'm a middle-aged white man from the suburbs. This is my old humble flannel. I've worn this shirt for almost every iteration of the show that we've done. And it is this one. I have two more that are similar to this, but not identical to this. But I do have two more blue plaid flannels. They're not exactly flannel. It's cotton, whatever. This feels like brushed cotton, but it's cotton. And almost every single show, it's been either this or one of the other two blue flannels. This is my traditional folding hat. This is my old one. It's fully leather, leather upper. I have a second one that has a mesh upper. Wide brim, keeps the rain off my neck. My Astros glasses, my traditional sunglasses for the show. This is the original. These are the original sunglasses. I picked these up on vacation when we were in March of 2020, March 1st, 2020. We went on vacation. We went to visit my aunt and uncle in Arizona, Flagstaff, Arizona. We went on a road trip out to Arizona and back from Arizona. And I want to say in Santa Fe, I want to say it was Santa Fe, New Mexico. Stopped at a gas station. I needed a pair of sunglasses. I picked up these sunglasses. And the reason why these sunglasses are particularly iconic with relation to this show is we started this show. I picked up these sunglasses on that vacation. During that vacation is when all the schools shut down in Houston. All of the panic started in Houston, the pandemic panic. All the schools shut down. They said we're on spring break. We're not going to open up on Monday. We're going to be at least another week off. And that's when they shut schools down for the rest of March. We extended our vacation by 3 days. We stayed at a KOA at the Painted Desert. And we went and visited the Painted Desert and something else out there in Arizona and New Mexico. Can't remember what it was. But we extended our vacation by 2 days. We stopped for groceries in Santa Fe on the way home. And then when we finally got home, I started the Old Humble Happy Hour in late March. Started doing stuff for our show. Started the first iteration of the Happy Hour. We talked about travel. We talked about whiskey. Had a fire pit in the backyard. Our first shows, and if you go back far enough, I don't even know if I still have them on the channel. But if you go back far enough, our first shows, we featured a cocktail. It was me and my lovely wife, Mrs. Old Humble Guy. We were out at the back patio. We hooked up with a group called Cabin Fever live stream. That's when we started our Twitch streams. This was the original infrastructure for the show. And these sunglasses, this particular brand of sunglasses, I don't know if you can see that. You can't see that. This particular brand of sunglasses is called Biohazard Optics. It was a wild fucking coincidence. We picked up Biohazard Optics. You can see the logo. I have absolutely no problem promoting this brand. They don't pay me. They don't fucking know who I am. They've never responded to an email. Biohazard Optics. You want a pair of these? I'll send you a pair for $15. They're great sunglasses. They are durable. They're sturdy. This is a pair that's lasted me for 3 fucking years. When have you ever had a pair of cheap sunglasses that have lasted you for 3 years? 15, shit, $10. I'll sell you a fucking pair of sunglasses for 10 goddamn dollars. Will it fit in here? Can you get a pair of Biohazard in here? Motherfucker, look at there. You're going to get a pair. Whoever wins this box gets a pair of Biohazard sunglasses. You're not going to get my vintage green. You're not going to get these. You might get the orange. I had 2 pair of blue ones. I gave 1 pair to my wife, and she broke it. And then I gave another pair to my wife, and she broke it. So she doesn't get any more of my sunglasses. But uh, I've got green, I've got red, I've got orange. A pair of sunglasses goes in this box. You'll get a. In fact, I'm gonna do it right now just to make sure we do it. I'm not gonna show you which color. You know what? You know what? Yeah, you get this one. There it is. In the package, right there. There it is. In the package. In the package. Sunglasses, cigar, with 5 samples. Straight whiskey, special reserve, double oak rye, Boomtown bourbon, and a 5th mystery flavor, which I will not tell you what it is because I don't know what it's going to be, but I will not tell you what it is. You're going to get it. It's going to come to, ooh, we have an eruption of the lava lamp. I will not tell you what it is, but you will be getting it. There you go. There you go. Is that not the best goddamn prize package you could possibly get? We spin the wheel of doom and glory next week. Spin the wheel of doom and glory next week, and you will get this box with those bottles, with that pair of sunglasses, and that cigar. What more could you ask for? What more could you, a hand job? You're not getting that. You're not getting that. I mean, I'm not driving to you to give it to you. Is what I'm saying. You gotta come here for that. That's an old humble after hours thing. You gotta be at the distillery, and you gotta buy a bottle at least. Anyway, VIP only. Yeah. By the way, we are available in Florida via online sales. Old Humble Distilling Company. I should put that in the chat, shouldn't I? Old Humble Distilling.com/shop online. Try our whiskey. Buy it online, have it delivered to your door. There we go. OldHumbleDistilling.com/shop online. That should do it. Okay. Who's next? Comfy flannel shirt. The only gin I like is Tanqueray. That's fair. And I'm guessing it's got to be mixed in something, right? You don't drink it straight. Sick of Taylor Swift and Kelsey. We actually talked about Taylor Swift a little bit yesterday afternoon during my live. She is marketing for her next song related to her Kelsey thing. Anyway, here's the thing, Steve. Taylor Swift does not need Kansas City Chiefs fans to be absolutely fucking amazing. Kansas City Chiefs need Taylor Swift. Well, they don't need Taylor Swift. They've got their own shit. She doesn't need her boyfriend's audience. And her boyfriend doesn't need her audience. She's Taylor fucking Swift. She's a billionaire. She doesn't need some tight end who nobody's heard of. I mean, he's a professional tight end. He's a professional football player. People in Kansas City know who he is. You know who doesn't know who he is? Everybody outside of Kansas City who doesn't play fantasy football. I had never heard this idiot's name until it was like Taylor Swift was at a football stadium. Like, really? What football stadium was she at? She watching a game? Cool. Oh, she's dating the football player. Okay, big deal. I mean, she's a national treasure. I dated her in high school. We're getting back together. One of these days, we'll get back together. But, Taylor Swift is a national treasure. If you don't agree, you're wrong. That's fine. That is another perfectly valid thing to argue about. Whether or not Taylor Swift is a national treasure. You know what's not a valid thing to argue about? Whether or not she's a singer. She's a singer. She is a songwriter. You can look it up. Is she a songwriter? Yes. Done. That's an empirical thing. You can look it up. Is she a songwriter? Yes. Does netherite give protection? Yes, no. It's a checkbox. That's it. That's it. That's not it's not a debatable point. It's not arguable. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. Did this thing happen? Yes or no? That's not a debatable point. You can't sit here and fucking argue about whether or not Bigfoot exists. It's not a debatable point. Do people believe he exists? Yes. No. Yes, people believe he exists. That's not a debatable point either. There's a lot of things that aren't debatable points that people argue about that they shouldn't argue about. You shouldn't argue with fucking crazy people about nonsensical fucking conspiracy theories. But whether or not she is a singer-songwriter, that's not debatable. Whether or not she's a wildly successful artist in her own right, that's not a debatable point. She's fucking, she glows. She is a multi-platinum artist. She fucking glows. She can fart into a microphone and record it, and 1,000,000 people will buy it. She is amazing. And she does it without selling the fact that she's fucking gorgeous. She does it purely on the merits of her art, purely on the merits of her talent, and that is not a debatable point. You'd be like, oh, well, she sucks. Well, you don't like her, but she sells zillions of records, streams, tracks, whatever they call it these days. It's showing my age. They sell records. What's a record, old man? Fuck you, get off my lawn. But it's not a debatable point. She is a national fucking treasure. She's in a class of all her own. All her own, just like Lady Gaga and that dude who, what's his name? Who's a brand new guy, Richmond, north of Richmond guy, whatever his name is. Like Joe Rogan, who's his own self-promotion machine. He's a fucking moron, but if he says your brand name, you're launched into the stratosphere. He's a force unto himself. I mean, it's not a debatable point. She doesn't need her boyfriends. She picks up stray dogs and gives them a home. She's just finally found one that has his own thing, which is awesome. I guess Ed Sheeran had his own thing. That was an ex-boyfriend of hers too. She says there's her second boyfriend that has his own thing. I mean, he's going to become subject to a song, just like I was. We're never, ever, ever getting back together. I mean, it hurt a little bit, but I know deep down there's a chance. She only said never, ever, ever. 3. She didn't say ever, 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 ever. Yeah, there's a chance. There's a chance. Me and Taylor. The Taylor Swift hype. Come on, Bimbo. You know better than that. Couldn't imagine. You can't imagine dating her because she doesn't know your name. She would not descend. Mere mortals can only get to see her glow and shadow. You don't actually get to see Taylor. You don't get to hold her hand. You don't get to touch her. You don't get to talk to her. Not like me and her back when I was in high school. No, that's not how it goes. There should be an album. Getting more wealthy from a failed relationship. Seagram's gin and grapefruit juice. Gin and juice. Isn't gin and juice? Isn't that a greyhound? Isn't that what that's called? A greyhound? Gin mixed with stuff is exactly how gin is supposed to be consumed. Gin and stuff. Nobody drinks gin. There's a few, like I said, there's a few that are worth drinking that taste pretty good, but most people don't drink gin. They drink gin and, like Crown Royal and Crown and Coke or Jack Daniels and Coke. Most people drink gin and I'm absolutely I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was very unprofessional of me. What's this say? Not a fan of being a fan of anyone except. Oh, of course, we're all a fan of Bimbo. Bimbo's the best. This is my number one favorite person is Bimbo Barbarella. There's fucking John Longshanks saying he's listening. You're not listening. He's watching South Park on Hulu. He's got his phone over here plugged into the wall. With the show just kind of running in the background. If there's some fucking Nazis or something that come on, I'll text him like, dude, take care of this shit. And he'll be like, what? And all the other moderators will already have taken care of it. Every once in a while, I get those spam bots that come on, like, uh, you know, naked girl, whatever, porno bots. What I had that for like a week or so, and then I adjusted my Nightbot filters, and they all went away. And I had that one dude, McTubis, who would come on and spout shit about Trump and stuff, and I blocked him. I managed to block him with other stuff, like keyword blocking, so he can't come on and do shit anymore. Because that's all he would ever do. But anyway, home's full of cardboard boxes like a studio, not a house. It's one weird thing I've noticed. Huh? Soothing sounds of the mouth organ. Thank you. It's a mouth organ. No, wait, this one's the mouth organ. The bigger one. It's the mouth organ. Ah, that sounds awful. I don't like that one at all. Here, let's try this. Back to the old Marine Band harmonica. All right, that's enough of that. That's my emotional support harmonica. I like this one a lot better than I like this one. This one's like a harmonic. I think this was called the it's the Weekender. This one's called a Weekender, and it's a harmonica. I have the box for it here. Tremolo harmonica. Tremolo is what it is. The tremolo harmonica. It's called the Weekender, and I have written in here. I have the 12 bar blues progression written inside the box. So if I wanted to do that, but I don't like this one as much as I like my smaller one. This one's the military band, Marine band harmonica. This is the classic, the one that you know about. The one when you think about a harmonica, you think about this one. When you think about the professional ones, the other ones, that's the other kind. But this one's made in Germany. This is the Marine Band. It says so right there on it. Marine Band harmonica. And this is the one when you think about a harmonica, this is the one you have. And this is the one I take. I literally, everywhere I travel, I take this with me. I have it in my bag. I have it in my travel bag. I have it in my backpack when I go hiking. I have it with me literally whenever I go traveling. And I will reach back and pull it out. Don't clip that. I'll reach back, grab my harmonica, and I'll play it while I'm on the road between here and Dallas, between here and Austin, San Antonio. I'll just. It's not like music. I'm not playing music. I'm not playing a tune, anything specific. I'm just making noise, but it's soothing noise. Makes me happy. Makes me happy. It's like playing the uh, Cotton theme song, the Bluebell song. Anyway, touch, the feel, the fabrics of our life. The touch, the feel of cotton. Bluebell, the best ice cream in the country. I am in a fucking mood tonight. Guys, I am in such a fucking mood. Anyway, But isn't this how it goes in bars? You sit there, you have a weird conversation with a stranger about a couple of movies from the 80s and the 90s and a generational difference of those movies. And he's like, yeah, really cool. Is that a harmonica in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? And you're like, actually, it is a harmonica in my pocket. And I am happy to see you. Anyway, where were we? On to the next one. What really crushed my dreams. That's a way to start a conversation. What really crushed my dreams early on was to learn that pensions disappeared. Basically, doesn't matter how dedicated you are to a company, there's nothing provided for the. I know, right? And it used to be like the pension was deferred compensation. Like we'd happily take 10% less. And then companies were like, no, 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 no. We don't want to do that anymore. We would rather match 10% of their own contribution to their own 401k, but we're not going to raise their pay. So you had to agree to not only forego your 10% of deferred compensation, but also take an additional 5% cut so that they could match 5%. 401ks were a full on fucking ripoff. I mean, that's not true. They weren't a full on fucking ripoff, but they were a full on methodology for corporations to offload the cost of your retirement to you, all based on actuary tables that didn't necessarily come to full fruition because the actuary tables were vastly overstated about how long people were going to survive and how long people were going to live and how long people were going to but this was part of what brought down a significant portion of the funeral and cemetery industry, because there were a lot of companies that were banking on the idea. Their stock prices were based on the idea that they were going to receive revenues when boomers started dying. But what happened was boomers lived longer than people expected thanks to modern medicine, good living, and a healthy diet from early on in their life that they went on and fucked up for everybody else. But, it was one of those things where if you got to 65, you lived to 75. And if you got to 70, you had a better chance of living to 80. And these boomers kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. They're still going. And it's great to have them around. It's great to have my mom around. It's great to have my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. It's great to have these elders in in and among us, to be able to have the wisdom and be able to talk to them and talk about things how they used to be, and interact with them and introduce our kids to them and do all the stuff. But for God's sakes, let us have some fucking electric cars. Let us have another generation of leaders. Let us fucking live closer to the city centers. Let us, automation of vehicles and factories and clean energy, for God's sakes. Quit taking the wealth of the country and giving it to the corporations and fucking turn it around and invest it back in the country. I mean, think about it. Do I want to go into this? Yeah, I do. I fucking do. Like we've already talked about all this shit. Everything they touch, they turn to shit. But not just the things they touched. It's the things that they deferred. Because think about it. If we continued the same tax structure that we had in the early 80s, instead of continuously cutting and 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 literally handing over shovel after shovel after shovel after shovel of the wealth of our nation to the top 1%, the top 10%, the wealthiest corporations, the wealthiest hedge funds, the wealthiest investment banks, the wealthiest investors in the country. If we had continued to take those tax dollars into our tax coffers and into the government, and continued to take that money in and turn that money back into investments, into infrastructure, we could have research universities, 3 or 4 research universities in every single state, We could have universities doing research where tuition was free for students in every state, doing research for the sake of research. What could we have discovered had we just researched for the sake of research? I mean, yeah, we call it wasting money, but it's not wasting money. It's turning money into future development and future growth. I mean, think about what just the space program has turned into products again and again and again and again with ion drives and space habs and just the different low weight, high density, highly durable uh, uh, metals and life support systems and efficient fuel and computer electronics, calculation devices, the DARPA and ARPA and all the things that they've developed over the years that they've had to just turn over to the private sector and hope that the private sector does well. Our electricity transmission services, if money had continuously been coming into the coffers to be able to develop our electric transmission and production, we would have abundant, cheap, nearly free electricity today. That was the promise of the future in the 50s. But now, has your electricity bill ever gone down? Has it ever gotten cheaper to buy electricity? No. And 20 years ago, we started privatizing the grid. We started privatizing production. We started privatizing distribution. Has it gotten cheaper? Has it gotten better? No, not at all. But you know what stays cheap? Water. Water stays cheap. Water is cheaper than electricity. It's run by the government. Water distribution is run by, it's not private. If it was private, it'd be expensive as fuck. If you actually had to pay for the aquifers and the pipes and the water, people in Arizona wouldn't live in Arizona because water would cost $15 a gallon. You kidding me? Water would be 10 times expensive as gasoline. No, there wouldn't be Santa Fe. There wouldn't be uh, Tombstone. Tombstone wouldn't exist. Uh, Flagstaff. Uh, I'm trying to think of a city in Arizona. There's the spring training facility down in Tucson, Arizona. That wouldn't exist. There wouldn't be people moving to Arizona. There wouldn't be people moving to New Mexico. There wouldn't be people moving to Nevada because they wouldn't have water. They wouldn't be able to afford to drink anything at all because it costs $15 a gallon to buy, $30 a gallon, $40 a gallon to buy water. You're not living in a place where it costs $40 a gallon, where it costs $120 to flush your toilet. Nope. That's not happening. $120. That's how, because it's 3 gallons. 3 gallons. If water costs $40 a gallon, you're not flushing your toilet. Not a chance. And all that money that we squandered, that we sent back to fucking corporations, that we've sent back to the wealthiest wealthy, that they've taken and brought overseas, gone. And meanwhile, it costs, we have to have this big like infrastructure bill to rebuild our bridges and roads. And that should just be shit that we do. It should just be a check that we write because we shouldn't have been squandering that money and sending it off. But for 40 fucking years. And who's been doing it? Yeah, right? I mean, that's what frustrates me more than anything. More than anything. Like just the the idea, the notion that we got where we got to, and that's fine. Everyone else can fuck off, and they pull the ladders up, and then everybody else is scrabbling around in the dust and dirt for scraps. It's frustrating, so frustrating. But, but, here's the but. Booty, 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 booty. Here's the important part. We got 3 generations following them up that are like, no, that's not how it should be. And there's going to be a backlash. The pendulum's going to swing the other way in about 30 or 40 years. The pendulum will start, but we got balance back. we got balance. And it's 3 generations that have counterbalanced to one. The next generation will counterbalance these 3, and the pendulum will start swinging back. Probably, maybe, I don't know. I'll be dead. So, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what the country is going to look like in 30 years, but God, I hope it doesn't stay. It doesn't look like it did 30 years ago. We'll see. I don't know. I hope we still have a country in 30 years. I am hopeful. I'm eternally hopeful. I know we will. I know we will have a country in 30 years. I am eternally hopeful. I am bullish on my country. I love my country. I think it's the most dynamic place we ever existed. And if you listen to talk radio in the last 2 days, it has been hilarious. He'd be a hair on fire, crazy people. Oh, we're not ever speaking of the house anymore. Fucking chill out. We live in an amazing time. We live in a transitional period. We live in a place that exists in between generations. And this is an exciting, beautiful, amazing time to live in our country. The future is ours to write, and we're going to write a goddamn amazing novel. It's going to be amazing. Mark my words. It's going to be amazing. And in 30 years, when it is amazing, you can go back to this point in time and you say, you know what? That dumb old man was right. The one time in his fucking life, he was right. He was right. Because we got a fucking amazing future. Because I firmly believe that we hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men are created equal and they have endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we will continue to pursue happiness. And each generation will define that happiness again and again and again and again, as evidenced by the difference between the 2 movies that we talked about earlier, The Secret to My Success and Office Space. And we'll continue to redefine that happiness. And we will continue to redefine how we extend the rights and fruits to our progeny every single generation, because that's what we do. That's what we do. Because we're fucking amazing. Bigfoot doesn't exist. Giants don't exist. But you, my friend, are amazing. Amazing. You don't have to rely on aliens and giants to build pyramids, because we build pyramids. We are the people that built the pyramids. We are the people that built the skyscrapers. We are the people that built the roads that crossed the mountains. We are the people that built the ships that crossed the oceans. We are those people. We are the aliens. We are the Bigfoot. We are the giants. We are the amazing mythical creatures that did the things that we look at and go, how can we do those things? You do those things by doing those things. That's it. We are the people we've been waiting for. We are our saviors. We are the ones who will fix the climate. We are the ones who will connect people. We are the ones that will feed the hungry and clothe the naked. Clothe the naked, not nude. Nude, you can stay nude. Naked, we clothe the naked. We are the people. We are the magical alien race. We are the mythical giants that lifted giant boulders and placed them on top of each other to create megalithic structures that we look at in 1,000 years after the fact and go, how do we ever do that? We did it by doing it and not accepting the notion that we couldn't. Impossible is un-American. I put it on my bottles because I believe it. Impossible is un-American. It's inhuman. Humanity looks at the impossible and says, it's not impossible, I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. When a room full of NASA nerds looked at me and said, no. If you send a wooden barrel into space, it's going to explode. You're going to lose all your whiskey. I heard, not, you can't do that. I heard you haven't figured out how to solve that problem yet. Space whiskey, baby. We're going to do a thing. Space whiskey. Where's my banner? Where's my banner? Space whiskey. Is that it? Space whiskey. Nope, that's family photo. Space whiskey. There it is. We choose space whiskey not because it's easy, but because it is hard. Space whiskey. That's the banner. That's the one I'm looking for. All right, anyway, back to the show. This brief patriotic interlude was brought to you by whiskey. All right, onward. Let's go. State work-based pensions. Employer matches 401k. Yes, they do. I'd rather do a physics experiment down the face of Hoover Dam than languish away in an old. Yeah, I get that. 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 We don't always get the choice, though. We don't always get the chance. I knew a great man. I knew a great man that I absolutely could look at his face and see that he wanted to go home, but he couldn't. He couldn't. He was, he went in, and if they would have taken the time to unplug him, put him in the car, and bring him home, he wouldn't have made it. You just get into that situation, and sometimes that's how it goes, and it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but that's how it goes. Anyway, 13, no political power. Yeah, a lot of us are 13. Anyway, we want a container with liquid from the side of the road and gum I found at the bottom. BYOT Wrestling. All right. Find us on Twitter. Have the Tigers done anything right since 1984? I don't think they have. Tigers have been. I mean, they traded Justin Verlander to the Astros. Well, was that a trade or was that a free agent signing? I can't remember. I know you're wondering what the winner of. I am wondering, actually, after reading that, BYOT wrestling. Well, first of all, I wonder what BOYT means, but I also want to know what they got. The winner got a ton of what? Oh, torn mylar balloon. Okay, gotcha. And a landscaper's business card and a rock in a Ziploc bag. Nice. What a win. What a victory. I have not watched pro football since Chris Spielman was stretchered off the field. That's probably a good policy to keep in general. That's been a while though, hasn't it? Favorite Minery Astros was orange rainbow uniforms, 70s and 80s. Classic. Yeah, I don't like those uniforms. I like the new orange better than the old orange. I do not like those old stripy ones. They just look 70s. They look gross. You haven't had TV in 20 years? Jesus. Tater Dom is back. Did I write Tater down? Dom, did I write you down? Sorry. I did not write Tater Dom down already. E-R Dom. You're in, buddy. You're in. You're on the wheel of doom and glory. You were the first person to comment on the stream, by the way. And it's good to have you back. This is the one that I need to pin that message. Where was we? There's Dom joining the party. Right, where are we at? There. Okay, there we go. That. Let's move on. I have a green light up here. Fan funding? What was that? Jigs, Steve. Okay, just those two. All right, back to where we were. Live chat. Back to where we were. Did I lose chat? Okay, no. God damn. Scared the piss out of me there for a second. All right. Scroll up. Where were we? There was me, the old humble guy, pinning the post. Go a little further. All right, here we are. Dom rejoins, or Tater rejoins. Jigs is back. There we are. I haven't seen Longshanks. I say his name, and he's gonna like pop back in, like, I'm still here. All right, so where are we at? But it's fun. doing a crap ton of back end. Where are we at? There it is. Okay. You have a master class in thumb twiddling. Yeah. What else? Where are we at? More members slapping in the face. He's laughing at a joke. Fuck you, man. What is it? How far back was that? 11:13? 11:13. That's been 40 minutes. 45 minutes. Oh, Jesus Christ. I am 40 minutes behind in chat. All right. On we go. I have great cameras, won't use them. I can't edit on my phone. I can't do that. I can't move it with fine enough like precision on my phone. It's almost midnight. Good God Almighty! All right, let's move it. Doing fucking members laughing. The funniest thing is I see that and I laugh about the comment, but then it's like 45 minutes behind. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! I gotta get moving. Oh God. All right, ton of back end work in the card. Yeah, I mean that's it's not just one or two views. It can be a big jump. When it comes to all that stuff, that could be like 40 or 50 views is what I found. And I don't get a lot of views on my I get a lot of views on my shorts. I don't get a lot of views on my recorded stuff and my uploads. But I'm okay with that. I actually am. I'm actually quite okay with that. I'm learning how to do better with the videos that I upload, and I'm trying to get better at that. So we'll see. But it's fun. Jigs sounds like a nice trip. Um, the safety glasses with the dark tint are fairly durable. Only broke one pair of those. I'd be needing some sleep. So Bimbo's going to bed. Good night, Bimbo. Cheers and good night. We will see you again next week when I spin the wheel of doom and glory. You are on that wheel, so you have a chance to win. LPs are disappointed. Like LPs disappeared. My LPs disappeared. Oh, the records, right? Miss the passion. Bring it strong. Bringing it strong for Taylor Swift. Hey, just because we broke up doesn't mean I don't still love her. We're going to get back together. We are going to get back together. Emotional support. Emotional support butter. C sharp. You haven't practiced for a long time. I guess pension in 3.5 years. Water is a commodity. I know they're going to have water war. I mean, they're talking about having water wars as climate change continues. As climate change continues to progress, they're talking about having water wars. Fucking whacked up. There he is. There he is. I'm still here. Fucking sleeping on his goddamn couch, watching fucking Netflix documentaries, doing whatever the fuck you're doing in your underwear, long shanks. I'm wondering what fucking documentary he's watching right now. Maybe it's not even a documentary. Like, what are you fucking doing, dude? Because you're not watching chat very close. I mean, not that you have to, but it's cool. I'm not worried about it. Uh, anyway, what's up? Bottom of YouTube wrestling is a PS something game of YouTubers in the bottom of YouTube community. Oh, on Coachism's channel. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. Very cool. Okay, so there you go. I'm at the end of chat. I've caught up. So there you go. What do we got? Who else do we have? Did I see something pop up over there? Okay. So I think it's probably time to wind this down. It's midnight. People are going to bed. It's tired. Um, yeah, I think it's a good time to. I think it's a good time to. You dipshit. He is watching a fucking documentary. I don't think he spelled Murdoch right. All right, Longshanks, you're a mod, but I'm gonna put you on the I'm gonna put you on the wheel. Just so y'all know, he's like a buddy of mine from college. He is the super mod that like I talked to him about the show. He's the dude that Lisa would be if Lisa was on the show still, if she was still doing stuff with me. She's still doing stuff with me. I still talk to her frequently. I saw her just last week. So it's not like me and Lisa had a falling out. Me and Lisa are still very close friends. We're still very good friends. Uh, love her to death. But John's got my back. he's he's a homie from college, and he's kind of just there in the background. He has a show on in the background, and I give him shit, but he's got my back. Y'all are the active mods, Erpenbeck and well, not Erpenbeck. You're not a mod. Jen, Jen and JLM, like everybody else who's a mod, like y'all are the active mods. Y'all come into the show, y'all watch the show, y'all do mod stuff. Y'all are mod people. He's like just like there. Like I don't want to say he's decoration, but he's like the bouncer. He's the bouncer. He's the bouncer at the door of the club. He's just sitting there fucking with his phone, like looking at Twitter and he's looking at Twitter and he's scrolling through YouTube and he's just goofing off on TikTok and whatnot. And he's got the snake around his neck. He's a big fat dopey dude. Whatever. Um, he's gonna kick my ass later. Uh, but when shit goes down, he like gets off his stool and he trundles over to the dude and he grabs the back of his shirt and he throws him out of the bar. That's what he does. Uh, that's my boy Longshanks. And no, you don't get to know his real name. Um, anyway, what day is the wheel spinning? The wheel is spinning next week, Wednesday next week. So 7 days from now. Unless I have to change the date for whatever reason, I have scheduled Wednesday. What day is that? Let me check my calendar. It is Wednesday, the 11th of October. Wednesday, the 11th of October, I spin the wheel. You do not have to be present to win, but if you are present, you might win something extra. Might. Can't promise that, but we'll see. It depends on how many people I actually have on the show. But I will announce the entire list of names. Some people will be on the wheel more often than not this weekend. I'll have everybody translated into a spreadsheet or whatever. It'll be posted up onto one of my community posts. I might even do a special video about it. Anybody who shows up next week will also be added to the wheel an additional time. Next week is literally your last chance for the first hour, and then we spin the wheel. And that's it. You're fucked. You're done. You're fucked. You're to destination fucked. I'm going to pour a little bit more, and then we're going to wrap the show up, I think. Um, also, I love you, Longshanks. Thanks. Thanks for having my back. I do appreciate it. Thanks for watching the door of the bar with your fucking snake around your neck like a goddamn bouncer. There was a bar in downtown Houston called the Brewery Tap. It was at the old tap room of the Magnolia Brewing Company. They made shitty beer. It was on the banks of the Buffalo Bayou in downtown Houston. It was a great bar. And they had bagpipes, they had dancers, and it was every fucking Wednesday night. The old Society for Creative Anachronisms people would show up. The Ren Fair, the Rennies from the Ren Fair would show up, and they'd play their fucking bagpipes, and they'd do their dancing, and we'd drink a bunch of beer, and we'd throw darts, and it was a fantastic fucking time. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a wonderful time. But they had this one fat motherfucker, and he was, God, he was like he was, he was a dude who looked like somebody, like, when you go to Marble Slab and you get a uh, double scoop or triple scoop, because the first scoop goes into the cone, right? And the second scoop goes on top, and then the third scoop goes on top of that. So, like the two scoops, they're kind of like, and then he looked like two scoops of ice cream on top of each other with a fucking head. That's what this dude looked. And he had a snake. He had an albino goddamn rock python around his neck all the time. And he just sat there, because this was the 90s, reading a book. He'd sit there reading a book. This was their bouncer on Friday nights and Saturday nights, because those were the two busiest nights. Occasionally Wednesday nights, but usually the Wednesday night crowd wasn't rowdy. But there were times that the Wednesday night crowd was under 21, and he was there basically to check IDs. Anyway, dude would sit there on the goddamn stool reading his book, and as you showed up, I think I need to do this with sunglasses off. As he showed up, he'd be down with his book, and he'd look up, and he'd go back down to his book. That was it. And the goddamn snakes around his neck, just sitting there, like snakes do. He's a snake person. God, these fucking people. But I swear to God, if that guy, Butterbean, he looked like fucking Butterbean. This dude was $4 if he was an ounce, without question. He looked like a sofa with a head, a love seat with a head. Maybe not a whole sofa, a love seat with a fucking head. This dude was Butterbean. Anyway, if you got in a fight, this guy, I mean, he could just grab you by the back of the neck and throw you out if he wanted to. But the one time I saw this guy bust up a fight, he didn't even do. He gets up off his stool. He gets up off the stool. He takes a snake, sets it down on the stool, sets the snake down on the stool. The snake's going to be the bouncer. The snake's apparently his backup. Puts it down on the stool, and then he goes over to the people who are like, and they're like, they're fighting like white guys in a bar fight. They're not throwing punches. They're hugging each other and grappling. And this guy goes up to him, and I swear to God, I swear to fucking God, he goes up to him and he just does this. And he gives them both a big fucking bear hug and smashes them into each other. And they collapse to the ground like a sack of potatoes, because they were both drunk. And he just goes up and he just smashes them in between his big old fucking man titties. Just boom! And they smack into each other and they collapse down on the ground. And then he grabs them both and drags them out behind him. And just, I mean, this dude was like a rock troll or something like that. He just drags him out back out the door, sets him up. He doesn't even, like, you can't throw, like, he's not huge. You can't throw him out in the street. He just drags him out behind him, sets him down just outside the door, picks up a snake, puts him on his neck, sits back down on his stool, opens up his book, gets back to reading. And these guys are just stunned. He didn't knock him out. Like, it wasn't enough to knock him full on the fuck out. They're just stunned. And they're sitting there and they wake up, they like get their faculties back to them. I'm back to my beer. I didn't see them again that night. They were gone. I assume they went off and fought somewhere else, or they got their shit together, whatever. Their boys stayed in the bar. They didn't go out and find them. Anyway, it was a crazy time. That bar was a fun place to go. I went to that bar from the age of 17 to the age of about 24 when I stopped going to it. It had a whole different aesthetic after I became 24. They changed ownership and it was weird. But anyway, the wheel is spinning on the 11th. All of that to say the wheel is spinning on the 11th. Anyway, where were we? It's live PS ? Wrestling. It's like PlayStation. Is that what you mean? PlayStation wrestling? It's funny sometimes they have announcers spilling the latest drama in bottom of YouTube. funny, mostly women. I am going to go check that out. That is Coachism's channel. All right, let me write that down. Coachism, BOYT Wrestling. CHISM BOYT Wrestling. I think I've hung out with Coach on Bimbo's channel before, but we had it was a bad connection and I couldn't actually do anything. Anyway. All right. Come on, move you down. What are we looking at? All right, we got good stats going on here. I'm happy. Oops. PS. All right. Lisa's missed. I love her. Um she is missed. I don't see her as much as I used to. I would like to see her more, but she's got herself a man. So she is good people. Lisa is truly good people. We need a dating update. The dating update from Lisa is that she has a boyfriend. She met a man who is from. He is from the first city that came to mind was Baltimore. He does a lot of work in DC, but he travels a lot across the country because he is um, an investment manager for unions. So he travels to union groups and explains to them how their retirement investments work. So she meets up. He comes here. She goes there. She meets him in different parts of the country when they're both travel, so they can both travel at the same time. So she's in Houston a lot. He's in Houston a lot. She's in DC a lot. She's also in other parts of the country occasionally. So she has a very busy travel schedule, is what I'm saying. So she doesn't have time to play nonsense with me as much as she used to. But there you go. Steve, what I miss? What the fuck did I miss? What day is the wheel spinning? Very Benjamin Life has just gotten added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Very Benjamin Life, congratulations and welcome back. Benjamin Life. What is the Wheel of Doom and Glory? You're going to ask because I just said you're on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. That's a great question, but I'm going to wait till I come across that question. So you're going to have to wait until I see that question pop up for me to answer it. But I'm glad you asked. I'm happy to answer. I went to a truck and tractor pull last weekend for fun and channel content. Tractor pulls are fucking awesome. We have a drag strip, drag vehicles, automobiles, a drag strip right down the street from my house. The royal purple drag strip, and it's wild. It is wild. I've been to one exhibition at that place, and it is insane. We don't do tractor pulls the way they do in the Midwest and up north. Down here, you go to a tractor pull. It's at the Astrodome. It's at Reliant Park. It's fucking big. They're bringing in Gravedigger. They're bringing in they're bringing in the big guns. They're bringing the big guys. They don't do tractor pulls the way they used to at the Humble Civic Arena. They don't do that. It's unfortunate because that's a really cool community thing. But the Humble Rodeo is dope as shit. It's a ton of fun, and the Humble Cook-Off is a ton of fun. Anyway, your neck hurt between the pools. Okay, it was a very small town, and saw lots of sofas. When we went to the First of the Moon Festival in Wapakoneta, the little county festival that they do up in Wapak in Ohio, where Neil Armstrong was born, celebrating the moon landing, which actually happened, conspiracy theorists. My son, one of my sons, asked why everyone is so big here. And my lovely wife said, because everyone eats corn and potatoes and steak in every fucking meal. Well, she doesn't say fucking, in every meal, and this is farm stock, kids. This is where they grow them big and sturdy. Like, yep, you nailed it, baby. They grow them big and sturdy in Ohio. That's what they do. Everyone looks like a lineman. But this old bouncer boy at the brewery tap, he was not a lineman. He was butterbean. He was he was he was an elemental force. I mean, you had to ah yeah, you didn't fight this guy. This guy just if you remember Popeye, the movie with Robin Williams and the big dude that Robin Williams fought, he looked like that guy. Now, you know what Butterbean looks like. You've seen Butterbean. You know Butterbean. Anyway, Coach Isms is from Texas. Good. May have to hook up with that guy at some point. I mean, Texas is a big place. He's from Texas. Could be Lubbock, which is 8.5 hours from here. Anyway, I I'll have to maybe I'll make a dating profile. Ooh, I can make a Grinder account. See what all those weirdos do. No, I'll make a regular dating profile. Okay, so here's a fun story. I tried to make a dating profile on that one Patriot date or whatever it was that was all for, only Republicans, whatever, but you couldn't make a profile unless someone invited you. So unless one of your friends in your contact list was already on patriotdate.com, the app, you couldn't get an invitation. So when you tried to make a profile, it would say you need to be invited. Let's see if any of your contacts are on Patriot Date already. Can we have access to your entire list of fucking contacts in your phone? To which the answer was, of course, fuck no. You can't have a list of my contacts on my phone. Are you insane? No. Because they were going to send a text, obviously, send a text to everyone and say, hey, you want to join? Your buddy Joe's inviting you to join. And I'd be like, ignore that. Sorry. They're stupid. But if you're on Patriot Date, send me an invitation because I want to go there and make a profile for a vaguely Hispanic individual to see what kind of Patriot dates I can get. Catfish Joe. I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be fun and funny. I mean, I'm not gonna like lead people on or anything. I'm gonna decline everybody, but I think it'd be fun and funny just to see the profile. Just to see the profile. You have a moonshine festival coming up. What? A moonshine festival? Moonshine festival? Like alcohol moonshine? Or like cuckoo Wiccan? I don't mean that. Like scratch cuckoo. Like Wiccan cuckoo bird festival? Because I could get into that. I mean, it's cuckoo bird crazy, but I kind of dig those chicks. Don't tell my wife. Like all right, so here's the weird attraction thing that I have. My wife is a very conventional woman. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, she's like normal, right? She's a teacher. She's lovely. She doesn't cuss. She moderately drinks a little bit of wine, a little bit of cocktails. She cooks. She's a she's a prototypical classic. I don't want to say Stepford wife type, but she is in every metric. She is just a lovely, sweet, tender flower of a woman. I love her with all my heart. She is everything I could ever ask for. Without question. Without question. I am devoted to her from the tips of my toes to the ends of my nose. Completely and totally. But she's not weird. I mean, she's weird. She's quirky. She's got her quirks. Everybody has their quirks. But she's not like festival weird, you know? I mean, she can get crazy. Don't get me wrong. She can get funny. But that's not like normally her, right? But then there's like those Ren Fair girls that are like always wearing wings and they have glitter all the time and the horns and the wings and the I'm a fairy all the time and earth blossoms and fairy circles and fairy dust and that, you know, I mean, they're fucking weird. They're quirky, they're weird, they're cuckoo bird nuts, and you just like you can't have a fucking conversation with these people because they're just insane, right? They have ferrets or like whatever. They're like lizard people, you know. They have their lizards. I mean, like lizard people, like they're a lizard, but they have like a pet lizard or pet snake. They have ferrets. These are the kind of girls that have pet ferrets. They're fucking weird, right? I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Like you see them, they wear green makeup instead of normal makeup. Their eyeliner's green or what. They have like stars or whatever, like glitter shit on them. They're weird. They're cuckoo. They're festival girls. They're Ren Fair girls. You can't carry on a conversation with these girls and the guys too. The guys are the same way. You can't carry on a conversation with these people for like more than a week. You're done. After like 3 or 4 interactions, you're like, okay, this was fun, but I need to go back over here where I've smoked all the weed. I've had all the acid. I can't be drunk anymore. I have to go over here and put gas in my car and make a shift at work at least once, or I'm gonna get fired. Right? You can't hang with these. And these people are like free spirits. They live in a van. They drink river water. They forage for herbs and berries and whatnot. They sleep on couches. They borrow friends' food. They're just free fucking spirits. I am oddly attracted to those people. And And I don't know if it's like this affinity thing, like you're a free spirit, you're not tied down. I want to live like you. I want all my life to fit in a backpack, and I just go from couch to couch to van to couch to van, and I sleep on a kayak, and we go down the river, and I end up at another beach, and this is how we are, and my feet are black because I don't wear shoes, and I'm just a weirdo too, like deep down. Like that's like my spirit animal is just like a gonzo, is a fucking weirdo. But there's also like mattresses that are comfortable and I love them and air conditioning that makes hot days feel good and heaters that make cold days feel good and like food that has flavor and taste and texture and isn't just like refried beans out of a can. Yeah. Like there's the idea of living a festival life forever. But then there's the practicality of it, and you're like, yeah, I don't want to be homeless. So, like I'm saying, I'm weirdly attracted to these people. Like I see like the girl. It's girls because I'm attracted to girls. I mean, that's me. That's who I am. But I see her, she's got like the tulle, lacy, tooly shit, and it's all covered in glitter, and the antlers or whatever, and like the fake fangs or whatever. She's got like the fangs and like the glitter on her cheeks and wings and antlers, and she's just like prancing across a field, and you're like, oh yeah, baby. And then you talk to her, and she's like, "Oh, elderberries and moonflowers and blah blah," and you're like, I'm gonna go back to my mattresses and central air and stovetops. This has been fun. This has been fun, but I've had enough of this conversation. It's been 6 minutes already. I can't do this anymore. Bye. Anyway, so that's a very long way of saying I love my wife. Uh, I am so glad. I am so glad. Oh, God, I am so glad that I met her when I met her and that she domesticated me as well as she could. I mean, I'm not Let me face it. I'm a fucking grown ass man. I like my walls. I like my carpet. I like my couch. I like my refrigerator. I like a pantry full of food. I like to have a woman who knows how to shop for groceries and save money using coupons. Like she teaches me all kinds of stuff about how, 2 for 1 is not the same as half price or 30%, whatever. Yeah, 2 for the price of 1 is not the same as half price. She's like, you have to buy 2. I'm like, I don't want 2. I just need the 1. She's like, but the second one's free. I'm like, but I don't need 2. Nobody needs that much sausage except for you, baby. She's like, shut up, just get 2. That's, by the way, a real fucking conversation that we've had in our lives. I don't need 2 packages of sausage. You need 2 packages of sausage, though, baby. She's like, shut up. It's not half price. Just get 2. She has taught me so much in my, 20, goddamn, how long have we been married? 21 years? What year is this? 2023? We got married in 2021. That's 22 years. 22 years. We dated for 6. So that'd be what, 28? 22 plus 6 is 8? 28? Yeah. Wow. Wow. Anyway. Yeah, so anyway. Um yeah, could you Yeah, if left to my own devices. Like I used to be affiliated with a festival called the River Revival, where it was on the uh, Guadalupe River, and it was a 4-day music festival. And I would go for the first 3 days, and she would join me for the fourth day. She'd come out for the third night, so it'd be Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and she would come out Saturday morning and join me for Saturday night. And the first 2 years that I was affiliated with this, she came out Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, late Saturday morning, around 10 o'clock or so. And boy, I would go out Thursday night, Friday night, and she'd get there Saturday morning. And man, I went fucking hard. I went hard. It was a music festival. So I'm there. I'm passing out whiskey samples Thursday night. I'm passing out whiskey samples Friday. Friday night, I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever you got. This is where I was introduced to mushrooms. This is where I like. It wasn't where I was introduced to weed, but this is where I had all the weed, all the whiskey, all the shrooms, all at the same time. I When she got there at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, I was like, buddy of mine had to like point me towards her, like here she is, like and I just spent like the next 3 hours just keeping my goddamn mouth shut. I shouldn't be saying this out loud. Like this is public, right? Whew. I didn't get dreadlocks. I did not get dreads at the festival. I did not get dreads. Moonshine history and cars. Oh, so like a NASCAR rally. Nice. Anyway, I didn't get dreads, but this is where I hooked up with Folk Family Revival, a couple other bands. I mean, it was just like a communal atmosphere. It was a ton of fun. The festival's changed since then. I'm not affiliated with it anymore. Um, but it was goddamn so much fun. But yeah, when she showed up around 10 o'clock, I was still way fucked up. It was a good time. I was a much younger man. It's about 5 years ago. But yeah, the river was like 65 degrees. You could jump in the river and keep your beer cold. This is an amazing festival. If you ever get the chance, festivals, fall festivals and spring festivals in Texas are absolutely amazing. Absolutely. Vintage coups? What? You got to give more context to that. I don't know what you're talking about. Um, but yeah, so I'm strangely attracted. I don't know where I was going with that. Where did I start with that? Festival girls. Oh, festival. Started talking about the Moonshine Festival, festival girls, festival. Oh yeah, that's where I got tracked off. That's where this train jumped off the tracks and started chasing down people. Anyway, all that's to say, I'm oddly attracted to festival girls, but I also know that they're like poison, and you got to take them in proper doses because yeah, if I were to follow my stupid boy animal instincts, I know good and goddamn well that candy would dissolve on my tongue, and then I would lose, like, literally. Like, I'd wake up in the next day and the candy would be gone and the steak would be gone and everything would be gone. And I know better because I love my lovely wife. She is an absolute fucking treasure. And when I get her into a festival, she turns into a festival girl. She doesn't have the wings and the antlers and all the other shit that dumb festival girls have, but she does get a little braided, tiara thing. She's a she's a hot little festival girl when she wants to be. Yeah. Anyway. Enough of that. Enough of that. I gotta. Enough of that shit. All right, it's time to wrap up the show. It's 12:30, guys. I gotta go to bed unless y'all want me to stay up. 18 times 41.25 divided by 60. We got 12 and a half hours of watch time on the show tonight, guys. 12 and a half watch hours. Vintage cars, Coues rockets, and oh, I got you. Vintage coupes as opposed to sedans. Gotcha. Vintage cars. I mean, it sounds like a fun festival. Where is this festival at? Is this up? Where are you at? You're not in Florida. You're not in Connecticut. Are you in Connecticut? No, that's Vanessa. Vanessa's in Connecticut. Where the fuck are you, Jen? If you don't want to tell me, it's no big deal. Um, you don't have to. No obligation. Anyway, so let's recap things. We got 30 minutes. 30 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's wrap the show proper like. Okay, so everyone who's gotten in chat tonight, every single person who's gotten in chat tonight, if your name has come across the screen, you have been entered onto our Wheel of Doom and Glory. The Wheel of Doom and Glory will be spun exactly 2 times next week after the first hour of the show. 2 times next week after the first hour of the show. The first spin will be the spin of Doom. That spin of Doom will take your name off of the Wheel of Doom and Glory. It'll take your name off the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Just that one instance, not every instance of your name, because your name can be on there multiple times. How? That's a great question. Let me explain in just a moment. The second spin of the wheel will be the spin of glory. The spin of glory will win you this box right here. What's in this box? That's a great question. That's an even better question than the first one. In this box is 4 samples of whiskey. It will be a sample of our straight whiskey, special reserve, double oak rye, Boomtown bourbon, and a 5th mystery sample, which I won't tell you what it is. I might tell you what it is next week, but I haven't decided if I'm going to tell you that. It will have a cigar from Acid Cigars, a flavored cigar, as well as a pair of my Biohazard sunglasses, which is a throwback to the very original, episode of our Old Humble Happy Hour. A pair of sunglasses that I continue to wear today. This being the orange color in honor of our Astros. The Biohazard brand is not a sponsor of the show, but I like their product. And if you want their sunglasses from me, it's only $10. I'll send you a pair of those sunglasses for $10. And Venmo me $10 and I'll send it to you. Houston, Georgia, Appalachian Mountains. My brother's in Savannah. Every once in a while we go out there and visit him. Last time we went out there, we drove through Atlanta. We went to the aquarium across the street from the Coca-Cola museum. Went up and visited him in Atlanta. We went and saw, in Savannah, we went and saw Tybee Island, the fort, from the Civil War, the fort. Oh shit, I can't remember the name of the fort. Went and saw that fort. Drove through some Indian mounds. It was a fun trip. Georgia's a beautiful place. It's an absolutely beautiful state. Ton of fun to visit. People there don't know how to drive. We saw so many cars that just like crashed into guardrails for whatever reason. Couldn't figure out why they crashed into them. But anyway, get your name on the Wheel of Doom and Glory. Wheel Spin of Glory, get the box. Now, how can you get your name on the wheel multiple times? Well, that's a great question too. Every time you come onto our live shows and I see your name show up, you get your name added to the Wheel of Doom and Glory. You can be on the wheel. This is our ninth live show since we started the drawing. So there are some people that have their name on the Wheel of Doom and Glory 9 times. But if you want to pad those odds a little bit more, super chat. Every $1 super chat rounded up gets you on the wheel again. So $10 super chat, 10 entries. $20, 20 entries. $100, 100 entries. And just so you know, there's about 200 entries right now. If you want to even pad it further, but don't want to pay it all up front, membership. $2 a month membership, that makes you a super fan. That puts you on 24 extra times. The next level up, I think, is $5. That's $60 a year. $5 a month. That gets you 60 extra entries. The roughneck level gets you on 300 times. Is $25 a month. But you also get benefits with the memberships. The superfan benefit gets you members only chat, involvement in members only streams. The second level gets you invitations to members only panels that will be streamed live to members only and then released into the general public. That's our game shows if you want to be part of the game show. If you want to be part of our special sip along for members only, where we send out samples to our Wildcats. They sip along with me and get to try whiskeys that I have not released yet, or brandies, or gins, or vodkas that I haven't even released to the public yet. You get to have it before anybody else. We sip along, we have the taste, you get the sample. And then if you're a Roughneck member, not only do you get entered onto our Wheel of Doom and Glory 300 times, but you also get entered onto, you get a chance to name our studio. Right, tonight we're broadcasting from the Old Humble Distilling Company's Pandemic Studio. As we build out the tasting room studio will have its own name. I don't know what we'll call it yet. I haven't decided. Maybe call it Thirsty. Maybe, I don't know. We'll call it something. The Old Humble Distilling Company tasting room. Maybe that's all I'll call it. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided. But the fact is, you can name it for an entire goddamn month. You can call it the My Dick is as Big as the Ocean's Studio. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I'll Ron Burgundy it. I will read word for word whatever it is you want me to call that studio for an entire month. Kind of crazy. I know. Community standards do apply. No Nazi shit. But it's pretty much open field, open season. Go for it. Tell me what you want to call it. I'll call it whatever you want. But that's it. Everybody who's joined me tonight, you're on the list. Mr. Jiggs, you're on the list an extra 24 times. JLM, you gave me a super chat. You're on the list an extra 10 times. So there you go. No purchase necessary. You're on the list. Jen, Barbarella, who else we got? Steve got on. John, Barry Benjamin, everybody, get stupid, get crazy, get funky. Let's get it started. I have a terrible singing voice. That's fine, especially at this hour. I'm fucking tired. It's 1 o'clock. But there you go. And as I've said before, I'll say again. Every dollar that comes through super chats and memberships and whatever ad revenue that comes from the channel, everything that comes through the channel goes back into the channel. Camera, new computer, lights, helping to build out the studio, getting cables and all that shit so that we can do live shows from the studio, live entertainment from the studio, live anything from the studio. Anything live from the studio, it's going to be live to members first. And then we'll extend it out to everybody else. And if you want to get an invitation to be a part of one of those live shows, you got to be a member. Because I can't just let any random person get on the show. I've got a brand to protect. The Old Humble Distilling Company. Anyway, there we are. It's been a fun show. We've had a lot of fun talking. I've had a lot of fun, folks. You guys are the stars of the show. It is a ton of fun talking with you guys. It's a ton of fun talking to you guys. It's a ton of fun having you guys on the show, and I absolutely 100% from the bottom of my heart appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me on Wednesday nights to do this dumb nonsense that we call the Whiskey Happy Hour at the Old Humble Distilling Company's YouTube channel. It's fun. It really is. I actually look forward to these shows on Wednesday nights. It's a way for me to blow some steam. It's a way for me to, I mean, I was exhausted earlier in the day. I was tired. I had a little bit of coffee. I'm like, I got a show tonight. And I kind of got pumped up. It was fun. I was looking forward to it. Um, so I look forward to these shows. I look forward to interacting with y'all. I look forward to having a good time on Wednesday nights. I hope y'all have a good time on Wednesday nights when y'all join me. I try to make the shows fun. Uh, I try not to go too heavy with the show, so if y'all want me to go heavier, let me know. We'll do more heavy shit. But even when we do heavy shit, I try and do fun and light. And I appreciate y'all joining me. I do appreciate the support 100% of the time. Go check us out online. Go check us out on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Go to the website, buy some whiskey, go to your local bar, ask for it by name. Do all the stuff. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for the show. We'll be back next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're definitely going to spin the wheel of doom and glory. Maybe we'll talk about Indiana Jones. Maybe we'll talk about what's a better trilogy. Maybe I'll get Ryan Adam Wells to join me, and we'll talk about which is the better trilogy, Star Wars or Indiana Jones. Hmm. Hmm. That'd be a hell of a show. That would be a hell of a show. Anyway, good night. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Be awesome to each other. Continue to be awesome to each other. What is this? It's been nice. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Cater. Thank you, Jen. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Um, we'll be back next week. As always, be awesome to each other. Continue to be awesome to each other. Don't forget, we're all people. Love you guys. Good night. Where's my screen? There it is. Good night.